And today we'll be diving into some of the specifics of using social media platforms to tell Rotary stories to your audience. We decided to go with this topic because from all the requests, we usually receive social media questions, and social media topics are the top one. So we have some social media gurus and stellar speakers today from 3 continents. We have Kim Widlicki, Senior Marketing and Social Media Strategist from our Europe Africa office in Zurich. Hi, Kim.
Hi.
We have Bree Cook, Senior Social Media Strategist from Evanston office. Hi, Bree.
Hi.
We have Lee Ann Shearing, past RPIC, who served in 2018-2021 from Region 28. She's also a Rotary Global Leaders Institute lead facilitator in 2022.
You are muted, Nina. You are muted. Can unmute yourself.
Oh, when did that happen? Just now?
Yeah, just now.
Oh, interesting. What has happened?
So
Okay,
if we can have all participants who are not speaking to mute themselves, it'll make the interpretation just go a little bit smoother. And then to staff, please do not use the mute all button because it will mute our interpreters also.
Oh, maybe someone hit the mute all and I disappeared. So welcome Leanne Shearing, our past RPIC from Region 28. And I'm also happy to introduce my
Nina,
amazing...
sorry,
Yes.
This is Yaria. We have to unmute the interpreters because you muted all.
Oh,
so the interpretation, just a second, I will mute them. Just a second.
I didn't do that. What has happened?
Nina, it's okay. We'll work through it. And Yaria, thank you for letting us know.
I thought we old PDGs are struggling with technology. Huh?
Oh, there are like right now we have 70 participants. So we'll try to do our best to give the voice to everyone, right? And not mute it. Yaria? Let us know when we're ready to continue.
Sì, non riesco a sentire la traduzione in inglese.
Sorry for a little hiccup here.
Ah, ecco, perfetto.
Hello.
Sì, perfetto.
Just a second, because I cannot unmute. I cannot.
I may help.
Yeah, just a second. I would like to unmute the English interpreter, but I. Just a second.
Thank you. We still have participants coming in.
Okay,
so
great. I think we are done. So you can start again. Thank you.
Okay, thank you so much. I guess I'll just continue. And again, please welcome Kim Widlicki, Bree Cook, Leanne Shearing, who are going to be our social media gurus today and our stellar speakers. I'm also happy to introduce my amazing colleague and regional leader support teammate, Madeline Brenner, who is helping today with screen and slide sharing. And I'm Nina Hajalam. I'm RPIC Senior Specialist and the host for today's social media workshop. Welcome, everyone. We are going to get started here in a minute. Before we dive into the social media world, I want to go over a few logistics to make sure everyone can access today's call in their preferred languages. As a reminder, please make sure you have accessed this call via the Zoom app on either your computer or mobile device, or be logged into your account if you are accessing Zoom through your web browser. To access interpretation in your language, click the globe on your meeting controls located at the bottom of your desktop or app screen. You will be able to select your language. Everyone needs to choose their language, even if your language is English. I also would like to ask all participants right now to mute themselves so interpretation works better and we don't have any sound interruption here. Also, please adjust your name in Zoom to include your public image role and your name. I will give everyone a few moments to do this before we move on with our workshop today. I also want to remind that once you select your preferred language for interpretation, you will still hear the speaker faintly in the background. To mute the audio of the speaker and hear only the interpretation, click Mute Original Audio at the bottom of the language selection list. If you are having trouble at any point, please use the chat pane to let us know, and we will work with you to troubleshoot any issues that come up. The second part of this workshop is going to be a Q&A session. We received a lot of questions during this registration, so thank you so much for submitting them in advance. We used most of them to prepare the content for today's workshop. Others would be answered during the Q&A part, and if you have a question to ask, please use the chat pane or raise your hand feature. We will do our best to call on you in order. And just like that, I'm happy to give the floor to our speakers and their introductions. Kim.
Hello, everyone. So, Martin, if you could stop sharing the screen so that I can do it, please. Thank you. All right, everyone. I hope that you can all see my screen here now. Yes, I see some nodding. Good. So I'm very happy to be here with you today from all over the world. I heard some people from Japan, India, France. So welcome, everyone. My name is Kim. I actually work at the Europe and Africa office in Zurich in social media. And my colleague Bree will be presenting with me, and she's in the social media team in Evanston today. So I think Bree and I have one thing in common, and I think all of you must have that in common too, is that we love a good story. I think we can all agree that we like to read a good book or watch a good movie, or when a friend or our partner tells us a story. And that has been something that humans loved for thousands of years now. And as in lots of good stories, there are superheroes or main characters. And in Rotary's story, the main characters, or our superheroes, are its 1.4 million members, meaning you are our superheroes. Because without Rotary and Rotaract members, we wouldn't have a story to tell. But you are not only our superheroes, but thankfully, with nowadays technology, you are also our influencers. Because who can tell Rotary's story in a better way than all of you can, as you are at the same time part of our organization and shaping our organization. And you might think, why should I care about telling the story on social media? Well, the fact is that we still have a bit of an old school image, especially in some parts of the world, this image of older men meeting and having dinner together. And I think we can all agree that Rotary is way more than that. I'm going to mute you. Okay. I think we can all agree that all of you are doing amazing projects all over the world, and that the reason why you joined Rotary is not to have dinner. And we are thus all people of action. Now, when it comes to social media, there are some things to consider before starting. There is, for example, the why, the goal. Why should you be on social media? Who is your audience? Where do you want to tell your story? How? And finally, what content works? And I think that defining all of this gives you a sense of direction, whether it's with your club or your district, so that you know why you're doing it and where you want to go. So we're going to quickly go through all of these points, just maybe for some of you as a reminder. And it's good to refresh that from time to time, or if you haven't already, to define it with your club or with your district, for example. So the goal, why should you even be on social media? Well, one of the reasons could be to build awareness. Maybe in your region, some people still have an old school image of Rotary, as the one I've showed you before. And by telling your story on social media, you can change that image and make people aware of what Rotary is. You can also increase visibility. For example, people in your region might never have heard of Rotary before, and by telling your story on social media, you can increase the visibility. You can also inspire partnerships for projects, drive donations if you have an upcoming project and need more donations, for example. You can engage a community that is bigger than your offline community. And finally, I think one goal that we all have is to get new members. So, once you defined your goal, it is important to think about your audience. Even if on social media we don't see the people who follow us, they all take time to do so, interact with our content, to like or share what we do. And so it's important to find a common ground between what we want to share as a club or as a district and what our audience is interested in. So, for example, our audience could be interested in volunteering, networking, NGOs, or helping others, which are all things we do at Rotary. And when you communicate about District 1600, Governor, DG, RC, or my all-time favorite, RIP, your audience might not understand what you are talking about, especially if they are not familiar with Rotary. So try to find a common ground on social media when you communicate to talk about Rotary Club or Rotary clubs in the region of your district, but keep the internal talk for your internal channels. Now, once you define who your audience is, you can decide what channels fit the best for your communications. So we know that there are many, many options available nowadays, and I always recommend less is more. I know you're all volunteers, you all take time to do this on your free time, and social media takes some time. There's nothing worse than old Facebook pages where nothing has happened for months, which also in a way is a form of communication that shows inactivity. So try to really think about how much time and resources you can allocate to social media, and maybe choose one channel for external communications like Facebook or Instagram, where you will not talk about DGs and RIPs, and one channel for internal communications, for example, for your club or district, like WhatsApp or a closed Facebook group, where you can share all the pictures of your club meetings and talk in the Rotary slang as much as you want. Now, once you defined all of this frame, so what your goal is, who your audience is, and what channels you want to either start or continue, it is important to remember the branding. So I think if I show you this slide, all of you within 3 seconds can identify these brands. And it is because they consistently always communicate in the same way. And I know that many of you are very creative people and like to use that creativity around the logo, but it is important for us that we keep a consistency in order to be recognized and to have this visibility. And it's the same on social media. We always recommend to use the mark of excellence and then the name of your club as a profile name. That way we all communicate in the same way and we're very easily recognizable. So remind yourselves of using the right branding, even on social media, in order for us to have a unity as an organization. And you have, of course, plenty of resources on the Brand Center where you can download the Mark of Excellence and also create the right logo. So make sure to check that out. It has been recently updated, so it should be easier to use now. Now, let's talk about the main point, the content. And I'm showing you a picture of a goldfish here because it is believed that our attention span has gone from 12 seconds in the year 2000 to 8 seconds nowadays, which apparently is less than the average attention span of a goldfish. Now, of course, we don't have the same intelligence as a goldfish, but the fact is that we are constantly bombarded with content. Just think about the last time you were waiting on someone, you take out your phone, you have so many options between the messages from your friends and family, checking your Facebook feed, Instagram, your emails. So as a social media presence with your club, you're competing against everything else out there. So now, what makes good content? Good content meets 2 criteria. Not entertaining, entertaining, not useful, useful. If it's not entertaining and you're not useful, do not post it. And there, remind yourselves of who your audience is. Will this post be entertaining or useful, for example, for an external audience? If it's not useful but entertaining, it will work probably very well on social media. The example are cat or animal or baby photos, which do not bring any information, but have often thousands or millions of views on social media. If it's useful but not entertaining, like a Wikipedia article, it will also probably work very well because you have an information from it. And the best, of course, if the post or what you're posting is useful and entertaining at the same time, like, for example, a Wikipedia article about cats. Now, I'm showing you a very light or funny graph here, but the key message to remember is when you post content, think about the fact if it is giving your audience an added value. Will they learn something? Will they be entertained? Will they be wanting to join your project? Will they learn something about your club? So always think about, does it bring an added value to my audience?
Woohoo!
Someone is happy. Now we are going to play a little game. So I think you all have a reaction button. And I would like you to send me a reaction if you would like, comment, or share the following posts. So imagine that you are sitting in a restaurant waiting for your friend who is late. So of course, the first thing you do, you take off your phone and you start scrolling through social media, in this case, through Facebook. And you come across this following post from an organization that you have never heard of called a random organization. You see this picture of people who you don't know, and it says, our HPIs and ECs met for an annual RT meeting in The Hague. Such a fun time. So please send me a reaction or wave or anything if you would like, comment or share this post. Okay, I don't see many reactions, so I hope it's not someone is sending me an unhappy face. And you wouldn't probably like, comment or share because you don't know these people, you don't know anything about this organization, and you don't understand what HPIs or ECs are. Now, next example, still an organization you have never heard of called a random organization. And it says, my name is Anna. I joined a random organization to meet new friends and support the environment. I never thought that I would meet so many amazing people, all connected by the wish to save our planet. Please send me a reaction if you would like, comment or share. I see some positive reactions. I'm scrolling a bit. The probability that you would be interested in this organization with this post, hopefully, is bigger because you see a person who seems happy and it describes what the organization does and what she has gained from it. Another example is last year only, the volunteers of a random organization have spent over 10,000 hours collecting plastic on our beaches. Each of us can make a change. Would you like, comment or share? I'm not seeing many reactions, couple there, but the probability here is also you would maybe be more interested, especially if you're interested in the environment or cleaning beaches, because you see the clear impact of how many hours the organization has spent and exactly what they're doing. Another example, this time you see an event in your region called Beach Cleanup Day. Let's say it's 2019. It's also by the same organization, and you see that you can clearly join this Beach Cleanup Day. So send me a reaction if you would be interested in that. I see a couple of ones here. And it's the same here. You see this organization you have never heard about, but you see two people in action. You see exactly what they're doing, and there is the call to action that you can participate as well. So I'm showing you the post of an organization I invented simply because I think we are all passionate about Rotary. Otherwise, you wouldn't be in this call. And we tend to forget that people don't know the same amount of things that we know about Rotary, and that they maybe need some more basic information, especially if they don't know Rotary, to be interested in what we're doing. And I think it becomes clear when you see an organization you don't know or that doesn't exist. And at Rotary, we also have plenty of stories to tell. So you can, for example, tell stories of your members, because that's one of the reasons in the end people will join your club. So you can, for example, make a post about why someone joined Rotary, or what Rotary has brought to them with a nice picture. and that way it gives a human face to your club. You can, of course, use the People of Action campaign to tell the story of a project that you did with your club and or district, and show what was the impact and show the clear action. You can also create events. World Polio Day is coming up. Maybe you're doing something for that. So you can create events on social media, also, for example, on Facebook here, to invite people who are not part of your club to participate. And I think all over the world, we have great examples of that, be it here in Japan, in Brazil, a project from France that we did last year, Germany. This was, I don't know exactly where anymore, but if there are Spanish-speaking people, you will be able to understand it. And also in Korea. So I think all over the world, you have the possibility to show how we are people of action and to have these images and descriptions of projects. Now I'm going to let my colleague Bree talk about helpful resources that you have to share your social media stories.
Hi, I'm really happy to be here. As Kim said, we're going to talk through some of the helpful social media resources. All right, you can go to the next slide. Okay, so I've broken this down for you in a few categories. So the first are resources that Rotary has for you. The first of which is everything in our wonderful brand center, from templates to different campaign information. We also have Learning Center courses, and they're revamping the social media course right now, which should be available soon. In addition to that, a member of my team also offers quarterly social media blogs on the Rotary Voices blog. I think her most recent one was about how to post content, and so that's going to be happening a lot. In addition to that, Rotary, when we're aware of a cool post or a story, when we're mentioned, something that we offer is sharing that content on our channels, whether it's retweeting it, or if we have a link, or if a story is submitted to us. Some great non-Rotary resources for working with social media are different blogs from management platforms. So the Sprout Social blog, a Buffer blog, where you can search by topic. Oh, yep. So if you search by topic, you can learn about things. So for example, if you were ever wondering how to make an Instagram reel for the first time, you could go to the Buffer blog or the Sprout blog and get step-by-step instructions on how to do the simplest to the most advanced thing on social media. Another great tool if you're trying to learn about Facebook, or if you have an issue with your page, is to look through the Facebook Help Center, which is searchable as well. A few free resources include something called the Preview app, which is very helpful for planning an Instagram feed. You can also make a free account on Buffer or Hootsuite, and those are tools that allow you to schedule your social media content in advance. Because as Kim and I know, when you plan your content in advance, you're more likely to keep up with it and be consistent. And then the last free resource is creating a Canva account, which is where you can create social media designs, you can make flyers, and you can upload Rotary branding to make it easier. Okay, next slide. Another resource that you have at your disposal is paid social media. So I'd like to see if people could drop a message in the chat and tell me if you're interested in learning about paid social media. So I'm asking because our team is always looking for more resources to provide, and if we see interest, then we can provide better information. So social media advertising is what paid social means. There are a couple different ways to go about this. One could be a very big ad campaign, which is a little more complicated and expensive. The best route for your pages is to do a boosted or sponsored post, the resources that I mentioned on the last slide all have information about how to boost or sponsor a post. The benefit of using paid social is that it increases the chance that non-followers will see your content and your followers as well. It also expands the engagement, meaning that you're going to earn more engagement when there's money behind a post because more people will see it. Boosting and sponsoring a post can be done very cheap, $10 to $50 a post. The best platforms to focus on for this are Instagram and Facebook. And I see that a lot of you are interested, so I'll make sure to pass that along so that my team can create some resources for you. All right, next slide. All right, people of action. I would hope that everyone on here knows about this campaign, but if you don't, this is how Kim and I like to view social media content. So the goal for our team, and what we hope everyone's goal is to show Rotary as people of action. So when we're looking to create social media content, the first thing we want to look at is, how are people taking action? What problem are they solving? And then we go from there. So an example of this would be if your club or district received a giant check or a grant of some sort. One way to show that would be to take a photo of someone holding the check and talk about the grant. But that doesn't show people solving anything or making an impact. So what we would recommend to show this is to take a photo of club members working on whatever the grant is for, and that'll be more impactful and perform better on social media. And it increases the awareness of what we do at Rotary. So make sure that you are checking in on the Brand Center and reading articles about this. It's a really great campaign, and that's how we select a lot of content for the Rotary channels, is based on, are people showing impact? Are they being actionable? Next slide. Okay, Kim and I wanted to provide some tips for taking photos. So the first thing is, you want to make sure to pay attention to how you're taking them. So candid photos are the best photos, where people aren't all lined up looking like a professional image. On social media, candid editorial style photos performs the best. Again, you see here candid poses or natural portraits. So when people are in the middle of an action or doing something like that, that will perform better. So we want real expressions, not posed expressions. We want demonstrations of leadership and impact. So instead of standing in a row on a beach because you cleaned it up, taking photos of people actively picking up trash or actively talking about something. Special moments of camaraderie, friendship, warmth, and celebration. So instead of everyone standing in a row toasting, maybe people facing each other, speaking, shaking hands, hugging one another. We want to see movement and momentum. So back to the beach example, picking up trash versus standing with trash bags in a row. And we want to see real context and real emotions. Another thing is when you're taking photos, it's a good rule of thumb with social media to take vertical photos. So holding your phone like this versus this, because of the way platforms function, vertical photos are always really great. All right, next slide. This is just a nice reminder that the Brand Center has everything you need to have a good social media presence. Here you can get images and videos. You can learn about people of action. You can see the brand guidelines, and you can download logos for your use. Next slide. And then everyone's favorite day and favorite cause. This is just a reminder to register your support for World Polio Day. Kim and I work very hard every year on the social media for World Polio Day, and we would really love to see what your club is doing and what events are going on. All right, next slide. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Bree and Kim, for amazing presentation. I know it was a lot of information, but good thing we are recording these sessions in all the languages. So if you need to refresh or you want to share this information with your teams, they will be available and I will let you know when they are ready. I also want to go back a little bit to the paid campaigns. I know that a few years ago, Rotarians in Great Britain collaborated together, like RPIC team collaborated with RC team, and they did a paid social media campaign to attract new members. So please think about it. It's a great way to share the budget together with other teams and reach the common goal. Next, I'm happy to invite Leanne Shearing. While preparing and brainstorming this session, I was thinking I need to invite a speaker who knows the RPIC side of things and who can bring the expertise from the field and may provide the tips or share success stories. I had a great pleasure of working with Leanne Shearing for 3 years when she was a RPIC in Region 28. Leanne published social media related articles in Rotary Africa magazine. She facilitated sessions during RLGI, and I'm so happy that we have Leanne with us today. Welcome, Leanne. The floor is yours.
Thanks, Nina. Would you like to just stop sharing? Thank you very much. Okay, so hi, everybody. It's wonderful to see so many familiar faces and to be able to share a little bit with you about my experiences. Wow, powerful presentations by Kim and Bree, and I certainly learned so much. Social media is such a great way to enhance our public image, but it's very underutilized, I feel. And I'm so excited about some of this new information that I have gleaned today. So thanks, Kim and Bree. Isn't it amazing that there is always so much to learn? And how very fortunate are we that Rotary gives us all the tools that we need in order to keep ourselves updated and knowledgeable. We just need to use them. So now that we've been given this new knowledge and understanding, where to next? Whether you are new to your role or whether you've been in the saddle for a year or two, one thing that I found to be the most critical element during my 3 years as an RPIC, or for the sake of any non-Rotarians in the audience, the Regional Public Image Coordinator, thanks for the reminder, Kim, was to build relationships, not only with your district governor line, but also with your district chairs, not only district public image chairs, but also how about the district trainers? Get them involved as well. And don't forget your other regional leaders, whether it be your RPIC team or the regional coordinators, the Rotary coordinators, the Rotary Regional Foundation coordinators, NPolio Now. We have all got to work together in order to enhance awareness for Rotary. So establishing and strengthening the relationships that you form will help you to ascertain the best communication channels that are required to get your message across, as well as building understanding of your role in their success. Too often, regional leaders, we are perceived as being, oh, they're trying to tell us how to do our job, where really we are there to help them succeed in what they do. So we need to build relationships to better the understanding. We also need to get to know a district culture to give ourselves a better insight as how to get the very best possible engagement from the members in the district. how best to encourage all the members in each district to tell their stories, because everybody has a story to share, but we're not doing it. And also then get them to share what they are doing, whether it be on social media or traditional media, to share that information with you as public image coordinators or assistant coordinators, so that you can discover best where to assist them and also understand the way that the district is working. It's worth remembering that as coordinators or assistant coordinators, that we are really there as resource people to help districts and clubs to achieve their public image goals. We're not there to dictate or tell them what to do. Rather, our role is one to encourage, recommend, teach, celebrate wins, and perhaps gently steer them in the right direction when they lose their way. And we can only accomplish this if we have built the personal relationships with the people that we need to communicate with. Be proactive when you want to share ideas of how you can assist, but do not force your ideas on them. Sometimes it's like walking a tightrope. I'd like to just share a little bit of my story. When I was asked to become the public image coordinator, I took over a post that in my region that had been let slide, if you will. So I basically had to start from the very beginning, which meant I really had to build relationships. And the first year was quite difficult, but I built the relationships with the relevant governors, the relevant public image chairs at district level, and with the district trainers in my region. And do you know, I got quite depressed in the first year. My coordinators were really good. They were trying to get the message out, but I didn't really see too much success. However, in the second year, the districts in the region were starting to ask for public image coordinators and assistant coordinators to go to their district events to undertake some of the training on public image. So slowly, as the relationships built and solidified, slowly we were able to do what we were put there to do in Rotary. And that was to encourage people to use the correct branding, to encourage people to use social media, to encourage people to share their stories. So for me, the critical element always is to build those relationships. And it was wonderful just to see and still see, even though I'm not an RPIC anymore, that the relationships that were built are still ongoing, and that the progress that we saw in those 3 years has continued. So what do we do with this wonderful knowledge that we've gained from Kim and Bree? What now? Again, in my experience, I learned something, whenever I learned something new, I'd use whichever communication channels were relevant to the different districts. And bear in mind that each district may differ in the way they would like you to communicate with and through them. We want to share what we've learned. That's just a human thing. Again, how you share will depend mainly on the relationships that you have built and that you have. Again, remembering that we cannot force the districts into anything. We can suggest, we can even organize a regional training seminar, but we must try and get buy-in from the district governors and the district trainers and the district public image chairs, because we want them on board if we are to be successful to get as many clubs as possible on board. We need to avoid district leadership thinking that we are in charge of them. Remember that each district has one district governor, and our job is to see them succeed. Work through the channels that the districts have laid down for you. And always, always be excited and enthusiastic about sharing what you've learned. I think that is very contagious, and it's one way, again, of building relationships and finding common interests. As a regional leader, if you don't have your own regional leader social media accounts, perhaps this is a good way of getting some of the information disseminated. Or use any zone platforms or regional e-newsletters. Again, building relationships with the people who are looking after those and who are managing those platforms. We have to find new and creative and innovative ways to get our messages out, but we have to keep building those relationships. Our ultimate goal is to be the point person for all the districts under our purview for anything public image. So if you've built your solid relationships, and not only those relationships for this year, but also for future years, because you will need at some stage to hand over to the people who take over your roles. Then once you've built those relationships, those people will come to you for help. Always try and keep the lines of communication open, keep an open mind, keep an open heart, and be passionate about the successes that they share with you. Never stop learning, and always show your enthusiasm for telling your stories, thereby encouraging others to tell and share their stories. So we're leading by example. And that's what we want. We want people to tell their stories, whether it be in person, whether it be social media, whichever platform they find is best suited to their district or the subject. They must tell their stories. At the end of the day, that is how we're going to increase awareness of Rotary. And certainly with what we have taken away from Kim and Bree today, we have some more tools which we can pass on so that we can share more stories in a more impactful way. And I leave you with a quote from leadership guru Tony Robbins. Take what you learn and make a difference with it. So I really wish you every success in the difference that you are making in the regions that you are looking after.
Thank you so much, Leanne, for your insights from your role and what would actually work the best in the RPIC and assistant RPIC position while working with others on social media strategies. And I'm happy to say that now we're going into our Q&A session. I know we have a lot of questions, and I see that even now in chat we have hot discussions. I guess I want to remind you guys that if you have a question, you can type it in the chat box or raise your hand, use the raise your hand function, and we will try to do our best to call in order. I would like to start with the questions that we already have. Bree, this question will be for you. Use of new social media for Rotary, specifically TikTok, yes or not? Why yes and why not?
To clarify, do we think this is speaking on a club level or the Rotary account level?
I think it's more about club level.
Club level, yeah. So TikTok is great. However, the approach that I recommend is to start small with your social media presence. So TikTok is a great addition, but if you're not on Facebook or Instagram or Twitter and you can't maintain the content on those channels, I wouldn't look at getting a TikTok. And TikTok can be great, but it does take more time. So I would just advise being careful of taking on too much. And TikTok can be great if you have someone to navigate it and help you put the content together. But it can be a really bad tool when it's not done well. But if you have a lot of younger people in your district, or if you think it would be a great way to engage with Rotaractors, or if there is a project you're working on that you know has a TikTok presence, for example, maybe something about the environment, it can be a great way to get involved, but it's best not to take on more than you can handle at once.
Thank you so much. And we have a question from RPIC Gabriel Filonzi. Gabriel, please unmute yourself and ask the question. Oh, please unmute yourself.
Eccomi qua.
Oh, here I am. Good evening. Hi, Nina. Because we know we are in touch all the time, so I'm always glad to see her. Well, I'm going back to the concept of the support to our RP coordinators that have to offer to the districts. Since we are not people that have to force something on someone, but we have to suggest things, I utilize a system for my next year. What I plan to do is to have an assistant for each district, so that we can utilize the friendship that this assistant already has when he was a governor with the people in that district, so that we have that relationship, so that we can friendly suggest how to carry on the concept of the brand and overall the concept that has to do with the communication that engages people and that motivates people. So the friendship and the relationship that the past governors have had in their districts, I use it as a mean to overcome all the obstacles or this attitude that the regional team has towards the governor. So this is what I plan to do for me. Thank you.
Leanne, would you be able to help or comment?
Okay, I think that's a wonderful initiative. I would, I don't know how to say this politically correctly. Sometimes you need to bring in people who are not necessarily past governors, but people of influence in the district. But I think certainly that is a way forward, is to get somebody from the district who's passionate about public image. And not every past district governor is passionate about public image, but get somebody who is an influencer in the district to be an assistant Rotary public image coordinator, because they then have already built the relationships. It doesn't you though from also coming in and reinforcing and building more relationships, because the more relationships across the board that can be built between regional teams and districts, the better it will be for the future of regional coordinators. Great initiative, Gabriel.
Thank you so much for the question. Thank you so much for the answer and comments, Leanne. And we are having the next question from RPIC Juan Contreras. Please unmute yourself and ask the question. Please unmute yourself. You're still muted.
Sí. Sí, buenas. Bueno, escucho
Yes, good morning, good afternoon. I have been listening very carefully about that social media, and Nina, maybe you can help me in Facebook and Instagram. What I would suggest is that within the regional coordinator to have one name for all the accounts, Instagram, Facebook, etc. And for Facebook, I think that we should invest more to reach a new niche, which are people not Rotarian, because as Rotarians, we know very well, we are coordinating clubs and districts, but we have to think beyond that. We have to spread our wings. With $10 monthly, we can reach at least 11,000 people within the age range that we want. I also would like to mention that in Latin America, we use the TikTok, but I'm sorry, it was not TikTok, but it was a function of the brand center. But in brand center, it doesn't explain clearly how to use it. Nina, I'm gonna send you all what we have done and what we have done is that many people don't know that we have a brand center. And this in 2 months in the zone 23B, only 25 people have used it in a district. So the access to the brand centers is very poor. So I have been promoting this, and in my webpage, I have posted in a way that with instructions, if you want to design a poster, for example, and you can download the logos. But most of the people, they don't know how to use it because they don't use the right pixels and it's distorted. So in this case, I also would like to suggest that these type of conversations will be constant because this is like a profession. Not everybody can do it. I always pick a person that is a professional and the Rotarians know. And of course, this enthusiasm through the message are wonderful because, for example, what we do is we have these little ads with music and it's fantastic. And also Twitter as a channel, I think that we can talk about what it was happening in New York, in Africa, and we posted this, and this has created great interest among non-Rotarians. So I think that we should take advantage of this. And I also would like to suggest, for example, we need money for promotion. This is the first thing that the district governor says. So I might suggest that we can meet all the RPICs with our assistance and to have enactment for the Council of Legislation, so the Rotary Foundation can provide grants, because with a grant of $30,000, we can really promote at the zone level. And it's necessary, and many people can tell us, Juan Carlos, this is just to benefit other people. But no, because we are strengthening our image, this way we are going to go into the society. To me, I think that it would be an easy step. I have 2 lawyers who have been delegates in the COL, and I think that we can send legislation so that district grants and the world grant could also fund our work in public image. I have been a district governor, and also I can tell you that there are people that not necessarily can have to be a past governor. I have a person that have been 3 times already instructor. And I think that maybe we have to move away from the idea of working with the past district governors. Thank you.
Thank you so much for sharing your thoughts, your experience. I think Bree and Kim, I would like to hear your comment about kind of having social media for, I don't know, inner group, right? An outside audience for the public image. And we're talking today, like we're a group of public image people. So I guess we more concentrated on like what information we're sending to the world, right? To people who are not Rotarians, whom we want to join us in, like, I don't know, in capacities of members or sponsors. Bree, Kim, do you have any comments on that?
I think it's important to make a differentiation between what we share amongst us and what language we understand. And we talked a lot about group photos. Group photos are great for our fellow group members, club members, or district members because we recognize each other. And also the language we use. I know we are used to our language, but I have been working at Rotary for over 4 years, and I still, if somebody tells me I'm from district 1600, I still don't know what that means. So I still have to ask people, because I have such a big region, what that means. And if we talk with an even more external audience, meaning not non-Rotary people, which often is the case on open social media channels. I'm not talking about closed groups where you accept members, or closed WhatsApp groups that you have with your friends and your fellow Rotarians. Really think about, will they understand it? Even something like RC for Rotary Club, it's not clear because people often don't even know what a Rotary Club is. So really try to put yourself in the shoes of the audience you want to reach. It's the same with social media, as when you're talking about Rotary to someone who has never heard of it, or when you want to go to the press, where we really have to adapt our message to the audience.
Thank you so much, Kim. We have 12 minutes left for our Q&A. Please keep your questions short and clear. I have the next speaker, next question from RPIC Nijad. Please unmute yourself and you're ready to ask the question.
Exactly. Good evening or good morning in some areas for everybody. Nina, two things very short and very quickly. One is a request and a suggestion. As you know, our Zone 21B consists of 7 districts in 3 continents. We have different languages, different culture, different religion, different things. And a lot we have to understand that we have many Arabic countries, Arab countries, you know, and many clubs who are Arabic speaking clubs. So straightforward, our request and suggestion, if we can have on the brand center, okay, like you have many languages in the brand center, you know, for some of the platforms, for some media resources, anything, how far you can help us to add the Arabic language in the brand center. So please think about it carefully, and you can discuss it with Rotary International or with
sure.
It's okay to. And the second thing, we have in our zone also, now we are sharing with another zone 21A. Together we are jointly doing our video competition, and which was very successful. And of course, you were one of the juries for the last 2 years, Nina, and we were very honored and glad. And we are thinking, how far, also from your side, can we do it globally? Go out of our zone go to the other zones and let the whole world, because it really, we found the impact and the influence of this video competition, how much it's affected the public and the Rotarian and non-Rotarian, and help them to tell their stories. Every club, he was, in his video for the 2 minute or 3 minute, giving his story. So it's very important if we can take it to another level as globally. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you so much. Any comments? Okay, we'll go further. We have more questions. I even didn't touch the list of registered questions yet. We have, okay, RPIC Jorge Gutierrez, you're ready. Please unmute yourself and you can ask the question.
Lo mío no es exactamente una pregunta.
Mine is not exactly a question, it's really a comment. To achieve what we want, which is to reach the great audience, greater audience that is not Rotarian, I think we need to have a district page without a number. For example, Rotary Ecuador without the district number. That's why we have a zone team to work together on that. That's why each district has a public image group to work on it together, so that when non-Rotarians access the page, if people see the People of Action campaign on the social media, they want to find out further, then they have to go to a place where they can see interesting information. So to have a district page where it says Rotary and the country only, I think that's going to help all these people who initially demonstrated their interest enough to reach that page. Obviously, once on the page, they have to see links to point them to different clubs in their cities, wherever they live, or the zones, wherever they are. Thank you.
Thank you, Jorge. I just want to let you know, guys, that we still have to be brand compliant, right? And know that brand, like our logos can be club logos, district and zone. However, there are options, and we are working on putting the guidelines on how the geographical identifier can be used. So it's coming up. Please stay tuned. Thank you for the comment. And we have more questions. Vino, you are next. Please unmute yourself. And I want to remind, please keep your questions short.
But I do agree. I do agree.
Yep.
I do agree
Yep.
with that. It's just for the search engine that I'm talking about.
Yeah. Okay. Vino.
Okay. Hi, everyone. Yeah, very quick. We are talking about social media and we are talking about public image. I have asked this question when I registered, and I asked it again in the chat. I agree with $10 we can reach a few people. I think most clubs have at least is present on at least one social media platform. But the problem is that the reach is very low because it's among Rotarians and among friends of Rotarians or among the family of the Rotarians. But the objective is to reach a wider audience. We need to reach the public. So the thing is, if we really want to boost our page or boost the content we're posting, especially if we are having a flagship project, let's call it a huge project we are doing, we need to reach people to get help. We need to reach people to get donations and things like that. We would go beyond the Facebook ecosystem. We might go on Google ads and things like that. And at the end of the day, it sometimes becomes very expensive. I have seen on a few platforms that some charity organizations do get some favors from those social media platforms. My question is it possible to start a discussion? Let's say Facebook being the main one for the time being, if we can start a discussion so that Rotary International with all its affiliates, let me call it affiliates, that is all the clubs around the world, get a special deal when they're promoting a project on those platforms. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Vino, Bree.
Truthfully, I'm not sure I fully understand the question.
I guess the question is if Rotary can, I don't know, work with social media platforms to get special deals on promoting.
That's not, to my knowledge, that's not a thing that happens. There is occasionally sometimes Facebook would offer grants potentially, but I'm not sure that Rotary or its clubs qualify for it. We would have to get back to you on that. But to my knowledge, organizations don't strike deals with the platform for promotions, but you can apply for things like grants.
Nina, you're muted.
Oh, sorry. I just wanted to read the comment from Brian Portway, who said that the better the reach gets, that the better must be the ways of receiving response and making interest donation as easy as possible. So we need to work on the reach, right? Like the content and the activities that we do on our social media. Two more questions, and we have three more minutes. Berlin, please unmute yourself and ask the question. Gabriel, you'll be next.
Sì, grazie. Grazie Nina. Io ho inteso parlare di lingue, ho inteso parlare...
I have heard about different languages, but we have to speak about images. And if we talk about a project that's worth being shown on the platforms, the images and the project speak for itself. Instead of just pushing things, we have to do things that are so important that people will take notice of it. The rest is unimportant. We can't continue to discuss among ourselves about how good we are and what we're doing. We have to be able to post what we do and realize it and make those projects one that has importance, and its quality is known by the community, and the community will know us by them. And this is the most important thing, to be posting projects and not the people and self-referencing each other during those projects. And then we have to maintain our membership. We are attracting people, but are we interviewing the people that leave and why they leave? We have to have internal club-to-club communication to find out among our membership why people leave and why people stay. Thank you.
Thank you so much. I also like the comment from Mary Lou Harrison. Our posts also need a call to action and an easy way for people to join us in action, right? Providing the volunteer opportunities. We had a question from Bear Lynn, but I do not see you anymore. Bear, are you here? If yes, please unmute yourself and ask the question. No, I do not see the question, but let me ask probably the last question. Bree, it's going to be the question for you. Is there an easy way to upload Rotary branding components into Canva?
Yes, very easy. If you make a free business account on Canva, I'm not sure. Oh, sorry, all of my notifications are going off. I apologize. If you make a free Canva account, I believe it has to be a free business account. They actually have a way for you to upload all of the branding, which means that you can upload the different logos, including in polio, You can upload the master brand signature. You can do Rotary fonts, and it will upload and save all of the Rotary color palette. So when you open a design, it'll automatically load all of the branding for you to incorporate in the design.
Thank you so much. Unfortunately, we have to stop here. It's 10:15 here in Evanston, and that was a great conversation. And I'm glad that we had so many questions, and a lot of them were not answered. I know that there were some requests to make that more interactive and show how those tools can be actually applied, and how it can be, like shown in action. I just want to say it's the first workshop we did in social media, and I see there is a lot of attention, and we will continue. We will use those questions and those requests to create more content for you guys, and look forward for other invitations to join us. We will do our best to provide as much information as possible, how to be active on social media, how to be effective, and how to reach our goals. Any final words, Leanne, Bree, Kim?
Just remember to have fun with social media. I think that's my final word. Don't force it, because people can feel it. So have fun and take it lightly.
Thank you. Yes, it should be positive, right? Positive energy attract positive people.
I think also, build the friendships, and as Kim said, have fun with it, and just enjoy Rotary. That's what we're there for.
Great. Okay, I think we're done here. Thank you so much. Please expect an email from us. We are going to send the links to the recorded versions in languages, so you can share with those who were not able to participate, with your team assistants, and anyone who is helping you working on social media, or anyone who is interested. Thank you so much, and I'll see you all soon. Thank you. Bye.
Thanks. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Thank you, Nina.
Thank you, all of you. This is Shiva from ARPIC 3150.
Thank you, Nina.
And Zone 7 India.
Bye, everybody. Bye,
I'm
Nina.
John
Bye,
Bombay,
all of you.
RPIC Kishore.
Thank you. Bye-bye. Bye.
Bye, everybody.
Thank
Thank you.
you,
Nina.
Thank you, Nina.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Gracias a todos.
Thank you very much.
Thank you
Bye,
for
Pinky.
Indonesia, Nina.
Thank you. I
Bye.
also want to thank you, our amazing
Shiva.
interpreters who did a great job translating this in 9 languages. Thank you for the whole world who was present today. Thanks.
Thank you, Kushal sir.